It's Wednesday. It's 5 Minute Rehab Day. Come on in. Come on in. This is Taisha Presley, the owner and the founder of Legacy Empowerment Services. We are a mental health private practice. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we work with adolescents and young adults who have experienced some type of dysfunction and want to rehabilitate their lives. And do you know what today is? It is our anniversary. It is the anniversary from the first video, 5 Minute Rehab video that I posted last year during the pandemic. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why I started the 5 Minute Rehab and what it means to me, because I've been practicing on you guys, and you may not be aware of it, but I have been practicing all year long on you guys. You guys have been a great audience. So thank you so very much. So I started the 5 Minute Rehab. If you are not following me on my fitness page, I talk a lot about starting small, going small. A lot of times what we tend to do is that we tend to have a goal in mind, and that goal is so lofty, so big, that it really becomes very intimidating. And when our goal becomes intimidating, do you know what happens? It kicks us into fight, flight, freeze. It kicks us into our stress response just goes automatically on. And sometimes what happens is that we become overwhelmed by our goal. And so what I've noticed and what I practice myself, and I tell my clients to practice as well, is to go smaller. Go smaller in terms of how you go about administering your goal. Go into small steps. What are the small steps that you can make today in order to accomplish your goals? And watch, once you do the smaller steps, you become you become so much more confident in your ability, and it gets you going, and you start doing more things towards your goal. And before you know it, you've accomplished that big lofty goal because you started small. You went small. So that is exactly why I started the 5 Minute Rehab, because I was afraid. I'm afraid of public speaking at times. And I said, you know what? I have this goal of being a public speaker, but I'm afraid of it. But you know what I can do? Instead of going live for an hour, because it was very intimidating to me at the time. So instead of going live for an hour, I decided, you know what? I can go 5 minutes. And not only can I go 5 minutes, but instead of going live, I can record it, because that is the least intimidating thing, to set up a camera and record. And not only that, so not only did I go smaller, I went 5 minutes and I recorded it, but sometimes in the beginning, I would write out what I had to say. So I wouldn't have to think off the dome, because sometimes thinking off the dome can be intimidating, because you're like, what am I going to say? But if you can organize your thoughts and write it out, it's so much easier. And so that's what I started doing a year ago. I started doing these 5 Minute Rehab videos, writing out my thoughts, reading it to you guys. Literally, I would look at my computer and read it to you. And that's how I became more confident. And so now, even though I'm not going live as often, I'm a lot more confident in regards to how I approach my 5 Minute Rehabs. And so I'm going to link. After this video, you're going to see my first ever 5 Minute Rehab. I want you to see that. I want you to see my ability to go small and to have that little bit of confidence that grew over time over this last year, and how now I can just flow. I just turn my camera on and I just go for it. And I look forward to myself going live more often, because I started small. And so my encouragement to you today is to go small in these goals that you have, these big goals that you have. Don't let those goals intimidate you. Start small and start being consistent in your goals, and watch yourself accomplish them. So that is my 5 Minute Rehab for today. You're going to see the video next. I want you guys to have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you next time. Oh, guess what? I am going to this is a bonus for you guys. I'm going to drop an ebook of a compilation of all my 5 Minute Rehab videos, and a little bonus. I want you to look out for that in the near future, and have a great week. I'll see you guys next time. It's Wednesday. It's 5 Minute Rehab Day. Yay! Okay, so before I jump into our first ever 5 Minute Rehab question, I want to introduce myself. My name is Taisha Presley. I am the owner and the founder of Legacy Empowerment Services. We are a North Carolina-based private practice, and we help adolescents and young adults rehabilitate their lives. Okay, so let's jump into this question because I asked you guys for questions and you guys came through. All right, so I'm going to read the question. The question says, help. School is about to start back and I am scared. I'm not used to homeschooling and it did not go well last year when the schools were closed down. In the beginning, it was fine, but after a while, I started getting frustrated because my son does not listen. He is just lazy. I have to tell him 1,000,001 times to do the same thing over and over again. And he still doesn't get it right. I'm just tired of yelling and punishing him. It's frustrating because I can tell it hurts his feelings when I yell at him. I just need him to listen better because I am tired of repeating myself. This homeschooling thing is just not for me. What do you think? Woo! So, before we get into what I think, let's all take a collective woosah with this mama because she sounds like she about to jump off the edge of the roof. 1, 2, 3. Woosah. Deep breath in, deep breath out, baby. All right. So, mama, I want you to make sure that you are taking your woosah moments with yourself. Because if you don't, you're just not going to be regulated and rational enough to approach your son and to be who you need to be in your home. And that's just the truth of the matter. And so I want you to make sure that you're building in time every day for self-care and that you are developing a support system with yourself, for yourself, with other moms like you who you may be able to kind of bounce ideas off of. So make sure that you're, number one, that you are supported. Number two, you're taking time for self-care. Number three, I want you to make sure that you remember that you are not alone because this whole pandemic has gotten us all a little bit crazy. And that's why self-care is so important. Number three, in your message, you talked about your son being lazy. Now that is a very, very packed statement. And I can actually see how you would think that if somebody's not putting forth their best effort, that they may be just don't care or maybe just may be lazy. But I wonder if that statement is really true. I wonder if you have really thought about that your son may just need support as opposed to he just doesn't care. Maybe he just doesn't know how to do it. So maybe if we shift or reframe your thinking away from he just doesn't care or he's just not wanting to do it to more of let me learn ways to support him through this, maybe that would change your frustration level. Maybe we can try that. Maybe if we tried to break the cycle by building communication where you are honest with your son and you give him a space and an opportunity to be honest with you, maybe that might help. And maybe instead of yelling from the other side of the room, because I could just hear you now, mama, yelling from your room to the kitchen or from the kitchen to his room. I could just hear it. I could see it go down because that's how it goes down sometime in my house. So maybe if instead of doing that, maybe if we went to your son and got on his level and help him to break down the task into manageable 1 steps, maybe that might help him. Maybe if we helped organize his day, maybe if we help to build structure in your home environment, maybe that would help. So when you do the 1-step direction, you get on his level and you give him the 1 step that you need him to do, and you give him a time frame to do it. And that will do, because he'll be able to do the 1 step. So what that will be able to do, that will help increase his esteem, his confidence in himself. And also you won't have to yell so much because you know that he's doing it and you're going to be able to kind of relax a little bit while he does it. So I want you to help him organize, give him time to do it, then come back to him once you do that. And I want you to try that and tell us how it goes. So those are my tips. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Drop it in the comments below. And as always, if you have a question that you want us to answer anonymously, hit up the inbox and I'll see you next time on the 5 Minute Rehab.